September 12th. Y'all know what date it is today? Today's supposed to be a boxing holiday. Straight up, you know? A boxing holiday. It's Mexican Independence Day weekend. Only thing we got to show for the last two Mexican Independence Day weekends. Let's start with last year's Mexican Independence Day weekend. What we got last year was Tyson Fury versus, is it Tom Schwartz? Who did he fight? Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallen. It was an Otto Wallen fight, if I'm not mistaken. He fought Tom Schwartz first, breezed through him, got him up out of there in 2 rounds. The next fight, when he got his face cut up, was at Mexican Independence Day weekend because Tom Schwartz was on July 4th. That's what we got to show. And Jaime Munguia fought last year on Mexican Independence Day weekend. Whoop-de-doo. This year's Mexican Independence Day weekend, 365 days later, a whole year later. What do we have to show for Mexican Independence Day weekend? We got Cap Velasquez versus somebody. I don't even know who he's fighting. So what's Canelo doing on this Mexican Independence Day weekend? He ain't doing nothing. He chilling, just like you see in the thumbnail. He ain't doing nothing but getting his lawsuit dismissed in the California courts, U.S. District Court. And it's been basically his lawsuit against Dazn has been dismissed because, basically of the format of how the lawsuit is being presented to this District Court of Central California. You know what I mean? They're basically Canelo Alvarez attorneys. They basically named too many defendants for Canelo to present his case of why he's owed $280 million from both Golden Boy and DAZN. So Canelo named as a plaintiff the people he's basically suing. He named DAZN North America Incorporated, DAZN Media Incorporated, DAZN US LLC, Perform Investment Limited, Golden Boy Promotions LLC, Golden Boy Promotions Inc. or Incorporated, and he also named Oscar De La Hoya as a defendant in the lawsuit where Canoli's, like I said, tried to get that $280 million. You know what I mean? So with Canoli naming all these plaintiffs, you know what I'm saying, the basically Canoli got to show proof. Um, you know, that basically all these entities that he's suing are culpable for Canoli having a case or breach of contract to sue for 280 mil. You know what I mean? So basically, this got dismissed. Ooh, Anthony Yard gives that man two right hooks. I'm watching Anthony Yard versus this Spellman guy. The fight is stopped. Lions in the camp. Anthony Yard makes his COVID comeback. Let's get back to this video. All right. So basically, Canoli's case got thrown out of court. And Canoli's legal team, by the name of the Maloney firm, they basically got to get their paperwork straight. And I'm going to read you some, basically, what the judge in this particular case goes by the name of Percy Anderson, U.S. District Court. And I'm going to read a copy of the official ruling from Percy Anderson and from the U.S. District Court. Here we go. Quote, because the complaint alleges the citizenship of the LLC defendants as if they were corporations rather than as limited liability companies. The complaint has not properly alleged the citizenship of those parties. Absent unusual circumstances, a party seeking to invoke diversity jurisdiction should be able to allege affirmatively the actual citizenship of the relevant parties. As a result, plaintiff's allegations are not sufficient to invoke the court's diversity jurisdiction. End quote. So there you have it, man. Those are the words from the judge ruling over this particular lawsuit filed by Canoli against all the entities that I mentioned. So Canoli began this particular lawsuit, taking Golden Boy, Dazn, ETC, all them LLCs and INCs I just mentioned. He started to take them to court. He began the lawsuit um, in on Tuesday in the Central District Court of California, and he's basically saying that there's a breach of contract between um, De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions. You know what I mean? And the suit, he's trying to get $280 million, and that's basically the remaining money that he's owed for his 11 fight deal. That was a total of $365 million. You know what I mean? Okay. As we all know, Canoli signed with DAZN in October of 2018. His first fight was in December of 2018 on DAZN with versus the Rocky Feldon guy, aka Bill Wennington. So it's been shown in that lawsuit, the actual contract that Canoli signed is it it exists between DAZN and Golden Boy, and Golden Boy is the one who pays Canoli Alvarez. And by Canoli's own admission, you know, Canoli has never seen the contract between the two, even though there have been many copies, multiple copies, which he alleges have been refused by both parties. So that's what Canoli's saying, that he's never even seen the contract between DAZN and Golden Boy. Um, so at some point in time last year, Canoli and there was sometime late last year, because I was making some videos, you know what I mean? Canoli and De La Hoya, they had a falling out. And it was over all this stuff. And it started with him getting stripped of that IBF strap in Golovkin fight in Devrichenko fought. You know what I mean? That's where it all started. And the relationship has been spiraling out of control ever since. You know? Their relationship, all through what you call it, when the man Canoli was fighting what's the man? Kovalev. That was like November of last year. The Canoli and De La Hoya were not even on speaking terms. It actually looked quite weird and unprofessional how these guys were not speaking to each other, although they seated at the same table at the press conferences. You know what I mean? Okay, so you already could tell there was turmoil between the two. And how long would it last? Would they go on through this in 2020? I think in 2020, I think the COVID-19 just basically exposed, and both guys, Canoli and DAZN and Golden Boy, everything's being exposed. They don't have much to offer. And I think the frustration of not fighting, they've reached their boiling point. You know what I mean? So, it's a tough situation that Canoli's in. And you never know, man. Look, I haven't seen the particulars of the contract, but you never know, man. Maybe Canoli even has no legs to stand on. Because from the outside looking in, it looks like De La Hoya all along has wanted him to fight the Golovkins, Billy Joe Saunders, and Callum Smiths. What's his name? Bubu Andrade, the man Eddie Hearn been begging for the man Canoli to fight that guy. It looks really and truly from the outside looking in. Canoli don't want to fight these guys, and he don't want to get told what to do. I'm saying he don't want to get told who to fight. He just wants his 36 million, regardless of whom he fights. And that's what I've been saying all along in my videos. No matter whom he fights, there's no pay-per-view or gate revenue. He has a guaranteed flat fee, no matter whom he fights. Rocky Feldon, Jaime Munguia, no matter whom he fights. King Kong, Jesus, a dog, a gorilla, doesn't matter. He's going to get his 36 million. So really and truly, what's the incentive of even having a difficult fight? A fight that you could possibly lose. What's the point? When I could fight easy guys for the same amount of money. You know what I'm saying? Okay, where we at? Okay. All right. So, according to this article, it says a notice of assignment was submitted on September 10th, naming a magistrate judge by the name of Alka Sager, who was to receive all discovery related motions. All the people that were named in that, the plaintiffs that been named that Canoli suing, were served with a certified copy of the lawsuit, and it instructed to respond to the complaint within 21 days after service of summons or file a motion under Rule 12 of the federal rules. See, this is some mumbo jumbo lingo that I'm not even hip to, you know what I'm saying? But the gist basically is I'm going to read more quotes. Okay, so basically, if Canoli's team don't respond with the complaint, to the complaint, it could result in a judgment by default against, Canoli. And for the, basically, Canoli's team, the burden of proof now is basically on Canoli's team and his law firm, the Maloney firm, to properly allege citizenship to the named LLC defendants. I'm going to read some quotes from the judge, the district judge. Okay, it says, "quote." Quote, accordingly, the court dismisses plaintiff's complaints for lack of subject matter jurisdiction. Judge and a district court may and should grant leave to amend when it appears that subject matter jurisdictions may exist, even though the complaint inadequately alleges jurisdiction. C28 U.S.C. Okay, those are just basically some quotes. Therefore, the court grants plaintiffs leave to amend the complaint to establish federal subject matter jurisdiction. Alvarez now has until September 28th to file a first amended complaint. Failure to do so or inadequately alleges the district court's jurisdiction will potentially result in an outright dismissal. So it's been dismissed for right now, okay? So if Canoli don't get his paperwork together by September 28th, this case could be thrown out and basically dismissed in its entirety. What's up, Mike 104? Mike 104 in the chat. How you doing, Mike? Mike 104 says the coronavirus really pooped the bubble as far as networks and promotional outfits. What's cracking? What's cracking, Mike 104? Yeah, man. But really and truly, the coronavirus seems to have only affected, as far as United States American boxing, that's the three major companies, whether it's Golden Boy, Top Rank ESPN, or PBC. It only looks like it's avoided. I'm sorry, you know, it's affecting Golden Boy and Dazn and Matchroom over there. I'm saying they can't get a lot of. They don't. I told you. I've been telling you almost every day when I make a video regarding this. Look at the schedule DAZN has. Only things that I could think of right now, from now until 2020 ends, we're gonna have a Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell. We're gonna have on the zone, and we're gonna have Marius Breedis versus Junior Dorticos at the end of this month, September 26th. Those are the only dates that I do know as of right now that the zone has. Look at PBC. PBC rolled out their schedule from July, and they're on and popping till December. They got dates. Top Rank don't have as many dates lined up like PBC, But at least they got Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez on the horizon. And there's going to be the pay-per-view between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, the third fight they shooting for sometime in December. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure there's more fights on the horizon on the top ranked side. They just didn't put out a thorough schedule promoting it like how PBC did. Because most of the PBC fights we're looking forward to are gonna be the pay-per-views, whether it's the Charlos or Danny Garcia's and Errol Spence. I wonder what Manny Pacquiao's doing. Manny Pacquiao can't be out the ring this long, man. It's not really good for him. He hasn't fought since July of 2019. We have heard nothing of Manny Pacquiao coming back. He's only getting older. So I don't think it's a good idea for him to be this inactive. He never really was this inactive, staying a whole year plus out the ring. It's crazy, man. Mike 104 says all that legal jargon and legalities. Yeah, man. But y'all basically got the gist of the article that and the video. The man Canoli case has been thrown out because the paperwork is they've named too many plaintiffs. You know what I'm saying? Rather than just is it DAZN and Golden Boy? They've named like 7 people in that lawsuit. Rob Gotti, what's up with you, Rob Gotti? Good to see you, my guy. Enough respect, man. Salute. Rob Gotti saying cannoli, absolutely cannoli, man, or canola oil, whatever y'all want to call them. Yeah, man. So that's what Canoli's doing for Mexican Independence Day weekend. He's sitting on his couch. Two Mexican Independence Day weekends, and Canoli's nowhere to be seen. Why is Canoli suing Golden Boy DAZN? Because they want him to fight better competition. That's what it comes down to, man. Yeah. And Canoli thought, yeah, let me come over here, get this 36 million per fight, regardless whom I fight. And he thought he'd get a whole lot of million of views over there on that app. That's what's burning him, you know what I mean? Nobody even watching him. Yeah. Sometimes money don't make you happy. You know what I mean? All the money in the world ain't gonna make you happy. They said he had the biggest contract in sports history. I personally thought if Canoli was a pay-per-view fighter, he could amass that $365 million quicker than 11 fights. He probably could do it in half of that. He could probably get a $365 million if he was a pay-per-view fighter in half of the amount of 11 to 10 fights, probably in 5 or 6 fights. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Mike 104 says Golden Boy's problem is they have all their eggs in one basket. Canelo and Ryan Garcia are must-win situations. That's not good business. Absolutely, man. That's what it comes down to. You know what I'm saying? Canoli, I'm sorry, Golden Boy, they basically got to fight. They biggest money makers is Canoli and Ryan Garcia. You know what I mean? Now, what's to say Ryan Garcia, man's gonna leave? Not gonna leave if Canoli leaves out. They both got Chepo Reynoso. That's both of them. You know what I'm saying? Chepo and Eddie Reynoso, they trainers. I was telling y'all, was it? Yeah, I was saying in a previous video about King Tug, man like King Tug Nyambe making 400 to $600,000 in his last fight versus Gary Russell. Ryan Garcia's never even made $250,000 over there on Golden Boy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and he's supposed to be a big star. King Tug Nyambe ain't no star in America. Good fighter, extensive amateur pedigree, but he ain't no household name. He's not no star in America. Still got 400 to 600K. You don't believe me? That's on you, man. I ain't gonna do your homework for you. You know what I mean? But you're absolutely right, Mike 104. They got all their eggs in one basket, and Canoli is a guy now who's gonna be on the shelf at least for another 365 days, man. Believe that, unless he just says the case gets thrown out, but dismissed in its entirety from by the the United States District Courthouse over there in Central California, where the lawsuit has been filed, if they dismiss the case in its entirety and Canoli has no legs to stand on, then Canoli has no choice but to get on the ring and still fight on that app. We'll see. Time will tell. But if this drags out, don't expect the man Canoli in the ring for another 365 days, man. More pushing close to the 2020, 2022. You know what I mean? It's sad, but it is what it is. Mike 104 says Canoli keeps moving away from the big money divisions too. Yeah, and he keeps avoiding guys like even Dmitry Bivol, who's a guy over there on the zone. He's willing to come down to 168. Canoli ain't trying to fight him. He ain't gonna fight Better Beef. He ain't trying to fight Caleb Plant, David Benavidez. He said he ain't trying to fight no Mexicans, but he fought the man Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in a lackluster fight. Yeah, both of them came and wet the bed. You know? You know what I'm saying? I heard somebody lying on these YouTube streets that Canoli does a million buys every single fight. Don't lie to us, man. Canoli's never done a million pay-per-view buys except when it came to the man fighting Floyd Mayweather. And at the time, it was a record, 2.2 million pay-per-view buys. Mayweather shattered that with his Manny Pacquiao fight and what's that guy's name? Conor McGregor. You know what I'm saying? Canoli versus Miguel Cotto was Canelo's highest um, selling pay per view without a Floyd Mayweather, and they didn't even crack a million. They did 900,000 plus, but they did not crack a million. You know what I mean? Which other pay per views he's had? Angulo, 300 something thousand. Arislandi Lara, I can't quite remember, but that didn't crack. I don't even think it cracked 400,000. Amir Khan, 600,000. You know what I'm saying? The Golovkin joints. Now the Golovkin, maybe those cracked $1 million. To be honest, maybe those cracked. Maybe I could look it up right now. I said $1 million. A million pay-per-view buys. Let's look it up while I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Canelo it all depends on his dance partner. You know what I mean? And right now, if he does pay-per-view, which dance partners could he get a million pay-per-view buys for sure? I believe if he fights a David Benavidez. You know what I'm saying? I believe if he fights a David Benavidez, he gets a million pay-per-view buys off the top on a Mexican Independence Day weekend or a Cinco de Mayo. Who else out there in boxing right now? If he fights on a pay-per-view, not no DAZN thing. No, I'm talking about pay-per-view where people gotta pay $70 to $80. Who else right about now? Um, Maybe a Jamal Charlo if it got into some kind of race type of thing. You know what I mean? If it came down to a kind of race war, like how basically Floyd Mayweather fights versus all the Hispanic fighters he fought in the second half of the Money Mayweather years. You know what I mean? Okay, so the Golovkin fights did crack $1 million. I'm sorry, a million pay-per-view buys. You know what I mean? Yes, they did. Okay, yeah. So Angulo was 350K. Canelo versus Lara was 325,000. Cotto versus Canelo 900K. Canelo versus Khan 600K. I was dead on, spot on with those. Canelo versus Liam Smith was 300,000. Canelo versus Baby Chavez was a million. Canelo versus Golovkin, the first one, 13 million. I'm sorry, 1.3 million pay-per-view buys. And Golovkin versus Canelo 2 was 1.1 million pay-per-view buys. You know what I mean? So he's cracked a million pay-per-view buys 3 times without Floyd Mayweather. Twice with Golovkin and once with uh, what's his name? Baby Chavez. Why the hell would Golden Boy think it's a good idea to go over there to the zone and buy the pay-per-view is dead um, selling point when he just coming off fresh doing a million pay-per-view buys back to back versus Golovkin? Whew, beats me, man. All right. Mike 104 says we hear Canoli say who he doesn't want to fight more than he talks about who he does want to fight. Preach. Absolutely, Mike. Mike 104 says that's why nobody checking for Canoli on DAZN. Why subscribe month after month when he only fights once a year? Always in a mismatch. Absolutely, man. That's what it comes down to, Mike. What you just said right there, my G. Why would anybody? The incentive, of all the people, especially people across the pond from the UK who said y'all Americans dumb. Why wouldn't you want to pay $100 for the year and get Canoli fights twice a year? But you just said it, Mike. The man don't even fight twice on the zone or even twice a year. Don't even fight on Mexican Independence Day weekend or Cinco de Mayo. And then when he does fight, you ain't getting the fight you want. So what's the point? Mike 104 says Golden Boy went to the zone so they can jukes them. Yeah, man. They wanted to get that bag. And according to Canoli, he's talking about he ain't see the contract. Yeah, Golden Boy, like I said in my previous video, Oscar De La Hoya brought his stable there. They brought Canoli with the incentive that he's going to fight A, B, and C, these fighters that the zone wants him to fight, whether it's the Charlos, the Bubu Andrades, the fights that the network wants, right? De La Hoya promises them that you can have Canoli, we'll promise you that, but I have to bring my stable over here too. Golden Boy, every single body, everybody. Yeah, now this is where there's an issue, you know what I mean? Now a man like Canoli's looking at Oscar De La Hoya like you use my name just to bring the company over here. You see? So man, the man De La Hoya, man, he got his money, but now the zone ain't trying to pay him that money. Guess why? Because you cannot deliver these fights on these dates. So y'all ain't getting no money. As a matter of fact, it's a pandemic. So you're gonna have to take 15 grand or 15 million or less. Canoli ain't trying to do that. And he ain't fighting no live dude. He ain't fighting no live dude. He's gonna fight a cupcake, but he still ain't trying to take half. So it's a clusterfuck over there, man. And it's effed. It's really effed over there, man. But hey, man, that ain't my problem. You know, it's not my problem. It's a problem that Canoli, Golden Boy, DAZN have to iron out. They gotta put their differences aside. If they really care about the fans, or do they care about the money and fighting mediocre opponents? B Marsh Boxing, big ups to everybody in the chat. Mike 104, Rob Gotti, salute to everybody. Thanks for hitting the thumbs up. I really appreciate that. And let me know what y'all think Canoli's doing this weekend. You see it right there on the thumbnail. B Marsh Boxing case has been dismissed for now by DAZN. They have till September 28th to get their stuff together with Canoli's law firm and that he's hired his attorneys, and we'll see if they get their paperwork right. B Marsh Boxing, I'm gone. Peace.